Okay.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Huh?
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. A little bit sleepy, but I'm okay.
A little bit sleepy?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
No, I'm all right. I feel like all I am is sleepy lately.
Oh, Lord.
I'm
Oh,
all
Lord. You
right.
gotta take some vitamins, girl.
Yeah. I definitely have to start doing more because I weighed myself and realized I gained a lot of weight. Probably contributing to me being tired too.
What you eating? Look, you eating all, look, you eating everything you cook?
Yes, and I need to stop.
Yeah. No, I mean that's how I am, and that's why I stopped cooking because it's like I sample while cooking, and then I'm not hungry, which is great. But girl, it seemed like the weight just kept coming on.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I almost cried today. So I said,
You
yeah, I got
said
to get
what?
back on. I said I almost cried today, literally.
Yeah, well, look, if you want to start working out, call me in the morning. I'll go walking.
Indeed. When you want to start, because I'm ready. We can walk right now while we're on Zoom. That's how serious I am.
Right. Be like, guys, hold on. We got to get our breath. We walking. Yeah, like, girl, whatever. Like, you tell me.
Or you want to go to the track?
So,
Oh,
yeah,
go
look.
ahead.
No, I'm just letting somebody enter the room. But yeah, just so what time do you have to go to work?
I gotta be to work by 8:30, but when I was working out, I'd get up at 6 and do what I need to do, then get ready for work.
Yeah. Do that. We can do that, Chica. Now I can't start until next week because I'm going out of town tomorrow. We
Okay,
can
that's
walk
fine.
though. We can make sure. But we still can get up and we still can walk. Like I don't have to be here to get you going.
Oh, definitely. That's
Hey,
why I said
Sophia.
I was about to tell you I'm gonna start.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Hi, Cathy.
Hey, Cathy.
Hi everybody.
Hi.
Hey. Somebody. Oh, how do you block people from calling your phone? Like when you're on something, like when you, they're gonna keep interrupting. Hold on a second. Gary. Hello. Oh, it failed. Okay. Can you block people from calling you so they can stop interrupting the call?
I don't know if you can put it on. Not sure.
Because I don't want them to keep calling me. I got it on Do Not Disturb, but he pushed through for some reason. Is that the right thing? Do Not Disturb, right?
Yeah, that's what I
He still
thought.
pushed through. Somebody lying to us on this iPhone world. They lying. All right, let me try this again. Okay, so, hey, Sophie, how you doing?
Hi. I'm fine, thanks. Good to see you.
Yes, you too. And so, look, thanks for joining on like our regular call. Let me tell you how things go because some people already been on here before, and so really this is just like a platform for you to. Hey, Tina.
Hey, baby.
This is a platform for you to build a sisterhood and also just to discuss things that you may feel like it's odd, strange. And by the end of the conversation, I'm hoping this always works. I'm hoping that you would feel that you're not alone and that you have people who've been through things and you would help us too. So it's kind of just building a platform and then letting the world know because I keep you guys protected so they can hear you, but they don't see you. They don't really know, like whatever, unless you want to tell them. And then later on, when we put it together, and you get to choose and decide if the footage is okay by you. I always want to make sure that you guys are not doing reoccurring trauma through me. I don't want that. So I want to keep you protected. And then that's that. Just have fun. Just like we laugh a little bit, we talk shit. We have no rules. Be yourself. If you're hungry, girl. No rules. What'd you say, Tina?
No filters.
No filters. And usually like 5 minutes before we just do this little chat so everybody be on the same accord. Then I go live on Facebook and Instagram. We do have an international show on Saturday. So if you know people, invite them. And it doesn't have to just be breast cancer. It could be any trauma, right? So we just wanna build our community, have fun. And with COVID-19, we coming over there, girl. We coming to the UK so we can party.
You're welcome.
Good time.
Okay, look, don't promise me a good time, Sophie.
You're welcome to come.
Okay, look, I got witnesses.
Welcome to
London.
London.
So do y'all have any? Yes, look, one day when you have to go outside and take me through London, like just show me all the fine shops and places. I've never been to London. I would love to see London.
Where are you based? Where?
I'm in Virginia, the United States. So Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Tina is from Texas. Kelsey is what? Kelsey, not Minnesota, no.
Michigan.
Oh, Mitchie.
See, I was close. And Sabrina is from Virginia too.
Okay.
She's from Nottoway County. Yep.
Oh.
So that's it. You ladies ready to get started?
Ready?
Oh,
Hey, Sabrina. Hey, Kelsey.
Hi there.
You.
Hey guys, thank you for joining. So today on Real Talk Rebels, of course you're behind the scenes. I'm talking to our rebels, and they're protected for privacy, of course. And later on, we'll put all this together so you can see the footage and laugh along with us. We have some beautiful women. Again, I Rock My Scars is for all types of trauma, but as you know, I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor, so I like to stick to what I know. But you are more than welcome to join us on the Real Talk Rebels show. Every Wednesday, we have a show locally for the United States at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Saturday, we also have an international show, which is at 12 p.m. and that's Standard Eastern Time. So let's get to it. All right, who do we have on here? Sabrina, you want to start first?
Yes. Some
Introduce
of you know me, some of you
yourself.
don't. Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Bree Nicole, baby, and I am the co-host of I Rock My Scars podcast, Real Talk Rebels. I'm glad to have you, ladies. And for those of you who don't know, I am not a breast cancer survivor. I have people in my family, but I love you guys, and I love the support you give each other, and I'm here to give support as well.
Okay, pass the mic.
I pass the mic to Sophia.
Sophia, hi. Hi, everybody. So my name is Sophia. My Instagram name is Queen_Talawa, and I'm based in London, England, UK. So it's great to be with my across the shore, across the Atlantic. I am a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed last year, February, with invasive breast cancer, but thank God, after 4 surgeries, chemotherapy and radiotherapy, I am now breast cancer free, and I'm just raising awareness and linking up with other survivors and just sharing our stories and raising awareness. So thanks for having me.
Woo!
Yes, well, thank you for joining us. Like, I mean, yeah. So what time is it there, Sophia? What time is it there in the UK?
It's 7 minutes past midnight.
Oh.
Yeah, so
It's late.
we keeping you up.
A little.
But you are so beautiful at midnight. Like,
Okay,
you
listen.
Thank you. I just put a
are
lot
put together, baby.
Well,
It's okay. You're beautiful. Right. You're beautiful. Okay, Sophia, pass the mic to the next person. Who are you going to pass the mic to?
To Kelsey.
Hi. Thank you. I'm Kelsey. I am a frequent guest of I Rock My Scars, and I am a stage 2 breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in 2014 at the age of 29, and I underwent chemo, went through double mastectomy, and I'm on 10 years of tamoxifen currently. So I am an advocate, and I am a support group facilitator, and I also offer business development consulting. So I am all over the map, and I am here to support anybody who is looking to turn their pain into purpose. So thanks for having me.
Welcome. And who you going to pass the mic to, girl?
Of course, Miss Fab Tina.
Yeah.
Hi, you guys. I am Tina Ford, Fab Tina 11 on Instagram. Oh wait, man, y'all, I just celebrated. So it has now been 14 years for Tina. Ooh.
Yes.
Yes, I am a survivor of stage 3 breast cancer. I am fabulous. I'm loud. I'm boisterous, but I am here. And we see you, and you rock. And I I am always on 1,000 for my survivors. So again, yeah, I've been on a couple of shows. So yeah, I'm gonna say I'm a veteran at this point. So hey y'all.
Okay.
Now, yay, congratulations. Okay, so guys, the next week is about sex and COVID-19. So we know as going through breast cancer, going through chemo, all that great stuff, our sex lives is a little different than what it used to be. Sometimes you ain't really in the mood, you go to menopause early, the cootie cat ain't wet like it's supposed to be, you need extra help. Woo! Now, of course, according to Tina,
y'all see my
according
face?
to Tina, she slow down now.
Not even a little bit, not a speed bump in sight.
We gonna call her Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, your new name.
Yeah.
So how have you seen or heard COVID-19 affecting other people with their sex lives? I think that is a thing because I would be scared to have a random partner, right, being grown in COVID-19.
Absolutely. I know on Facebook I follow this group called Sisters Who Travel, and that was one of the topics that we discussed in there, about, how do you know when prior to COVID-19, if you needed somebody, ooh, that's bad English. You meet somebody and you want to link up with them, you just linked up and it was what it was. But now you got COVID, and then people with pre-existing conditions, it could go really bad if you just link up with some random. So, for me, okay, I'm gonna have to quit. I can't lie to y'all. I don't never lie to y'all. For me, Tina ain't got no problem.
Don't lie.
Tina ain't got no problem with it. If I want to link up, I'm gonna link up. But but in the back of my mind, I am thinking about that. Oh my God, I do have all these pre-existing conditions. Look, Tina, your body can't filter out things the way it used to. You don't have lymph nodes. Like, things could go really, really bad. So you got to be extra. You might need to check a temperature and do a COVID test at the door before he slide in.
Right, Tina, that's what I'm saying. Okay, hold on. Someone just joined us on, I believe this is on Facebook. Hey, beautiful. Lady Butterfly, hello.
Hi. I don't know if she can hear me, but hey, girl.
Hey, girl. So have you heard or seen or witnessed COVID-19 being a problem with your friends in sex life, in the bed, between the sheets?
I don't think so.
Well, that's good. They may need to help us. How are you doing? That's good. So you joined. Oh, you eating crabs? Okay. Well, you joined the Real Talk Rebel Show. So if you don't have no headphones, then we don't have no filter. So put the kids away.
That's right, because we talking about not getting corona in the cootie cat.
Hello, somebody. It's real out here in this
What you say, baby? All right. So the next thing, which is a serious topic, which bothered me. So I went to go get my my yearly, is now yearly, what's 6 months checkup with my general surgeon, right? And all my doctors I love because they're more like family. And without them, I probably would have died, right? Because they really cared. They went beyond their level of care. Like, everybody did extra research. Everybody was like calling beyond their hours. So I'm really attached to my doctors. And so seeing my general surgeon, which was the one who caught it the second time, which usually they don't, do all that. I said to him, I was like, yo, do you ever think about, take a second and think about you are saving lives, right? Like you are literally saving lives. And that's really like, you're a general surgeon. Like you do surgery, you know, people hard, and I get it. But catching breast cancer in a woman, and he's a male, like I think he's like 57. And I was like, that's major to me, because we hear all the stories about the doctors who don't listen, the doctors who don't catch it, and just seeing a person who cared a little bit more. And the nurse, when she came in, she said to me, I rock my scars. I'm gonna send her some bracelets, and if you got some things you want to throw up in the bag, look, send it to me, and I'll throw some stuff in the bag from y'all to them. But she was saying that so many men come there and they die alone because they feel like they can't share their stories because breast cancer is seen as a woman's disease, right? And so they don't know how to tell their friends, I got breast cancer. How can we change that, right?
They got to get connected with the Male Breast Cancer Coalition. That's definitely one of the things. I mean, on top of just women or like our breast cancer organizations being, you know, so feminine and non-inclusive, like not saying, you know, like every one of them is just kind of like an unintentional thing. I actually interviewed a male breast cancer survivor, and there's so many things like the questions that they're asked when they're getting diagnosed that don't apply to them, that it's not separated by sex. So they're getting asked like these questions, like if they're lactating and like really crazy stuff like that, you know, your last pregnancy. And so it's like the medical community, even though they account for 1%, they find it later and they have worse mortality rates. So it's like, we have to create this culture. It's kind of what we do as breast cancer survivors. We're the ones who end up stepping in and doing the advocacy and doing the work, which is just so crazy. So it's like there's a culture shift that needs to happen, because I think in the past like 5 years I've seen the shift happen towards not only more inclusivity, but also looking at our metastatic survivors and, you know, keeping them on the planet for longer. So it's like, in addition to accommodating for metastatic patients, we've really got to be accommodating towards the men, because their stats are not that great.
Wow.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing that bothered me was that it is just like the fear. Like I tell people, I don't really have a lot of fears, but I don't want anyone to feel like they have to die alone, right? I don't want to die alone. That's like, you know, I mean, we all gonna die. That's a realization. But to feel like, I guess because you didn't do anything to get cancer, right? And to feel like you can't share with the world that something happened to you and you can get help, that's the part where I'm like, I want to change the world, right? Because that's major. Like a person, like for a man to be so manly, right? And we say, oh, you can't cry, you can't, bitch, you know, it's like, why can't they? Right?
Yeah, and that's how they grow up. They grow up learning that from their childhood, and that pride just is embedded in them that I have to deal with this by myself, or they're embarrassed because breast is in front of it. Men don't realize they have breasts too, even though you might not. You have breast tissue in there, so you are prone to getting cancer as well. So breast is associated with women, so that to them I think would be an embarrassment because somebody told them they have breast cancer.
Right. Y'all see my press-on nails? Look, I just did it while we were talking.
Well, I'm gonna try it on this weekend. I love press-ons. They're the best.
Well, okay, so listen, Sophia, in the UK, do you feel like there is a gender bias when it comes to certain things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even just discussing breast cancer in men, we don't really. And when I'm sharing on my Facebook page or on my Instagram, you know, I myself even have to remember men too, you know, so even I have a bias, you know, because I'm sisters, check your breasts, and then I forget, actually, there's men there as well. Men have, like what Sabrina just said, men have breasts, you know, and so, even in, you know, when I was going to the clinic and everything, you don't see, the language is geared towards women, as you're saying, and yeah, but definitely there needs to be more advocacy and more discussion and more support. And I don't
and so
had it.
I think we should take a pledge, right? Like we got 5, we got 6, including my beautiful butterfly online. We should start including men in our posts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
In the literature, in the, you know, like the infograms, the infographics and things, you know, they're all geared towards women.
You know what? That's a good example. So to even have the characters of men kind of like making it normal, right? It's kind of like how like Black Lives Matter is right now, right? It's making people inclusive and understanding that it's different levels to color, right? It's the same thing. I feel like we're doing it to the men in the breast cancer area. So, okay, that's it, world. Go ahead, let's go, Kelsey. What is it?
So initially, so check this out. The history of the pink ribbon, it actually was peach. So the ribbon was actually peach colored, and there was a woman who was writing Congress and giving them pink peach ribbons and saying, you know, please be aware that so many individuals are dying of breast cancer every year. And basically, I don't know if it was Coleman, but I think it might have been, they basically like were told that they couldn't do the peach ribbon because they wanted to take it for themselves, but then there was no discernment on the color, so they're like, okay, we'll just turn it pink, and that's what happened. So it was actually like a marketing thing. So yeah, something that turned in from, it started as advocacy and it turned into like what it is. So we could even use peach ribbons as, you know, and go back to the original person that was advocating for metastatic, you know, for funds for metastatic research and whatnot. So I would
that's
be
what
down.
we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. I mean, I like pink, Kels. Look, I like pink. I do, but I mean, I got pink on today, but I don't think cancer is beautiful. Like, I don't. When I think about pink, I think about beauty, right? And so I've always been against using pink for breast cancer. I just always have, because I feel like it makes you feel that if you don't fit the category of being cute during cancer, then it's not real, right? It's like, put some gloss on it, it's not real. But if you see the real life cancer every day in your face, it's not pink and pretty, right?
Yeah,
it's hard to keep up for everybody else, you know. I mean, that is definitely something I went through, was just trying to be quote unquote normal after like treatment was done, and I just completely fell apart. Like it was really tough on autopilot for, you know, the duration of treatment, because by the time I was done, I had like 8 doctors, and that was just I didn't even have a primary care physician when I was first diagnosed. So like basically afterwards, you know, falling off that cliff and just having all these difficulties with how much I changed. You know, it's hard. Like it wasn't, you know, cutesy or glamorous. It was like uncomfortable phone calls and cancellations and, you know, tons of disappointment. And that's just like not pink to me.
No.
What you think, Tina?
I agree. I mean, just like Kelsey just said, it was, you know, it wasn't a beautiful experience. And pink is like Tina's favorite color. If you follow me on Instagram, you're going to see pink. And I'm guilty of it too, because when I started my little movement, I you know, after my cousin, she died of breast cancer, I started the Surviving Sisters. But again, surviving sisters, it doesn't include men. And which, Tina, I feel like what's wrong with you? Because during the month of October at our church is Men's Month, and I'm like heavy on them about dropping knowledge about how breast cancer affects men. So I know better. So I bite myself on the head. But it's not.
But you know what? That's the biggest thing though, Tina, is like, that's how we grow though. Like if we always are the non-flexible people, and change is not going to happen, right? It only becomes when we are flexible. And so that's like honorable. Like when we take notice and look, I did it. And I see the same thing about people who are racist. Own up to your shit and then move on, right? Like, look, I didn't know I was racist. I'm sorry. And then let's fix it.
Right.
Right? It's the same thing we're doing right now. It's like, no.
Let's fix it. Because, you know, the thing is so many people don't want to acknowledge or be comfortable with their privilege or even acknowledge that they have it and that they benefit certain institutionalized systems. Like in the US, like the things that are going on right now, it's just, I just shake my head. Like I, you know, see some of like the you know, what is it, segmentation, where there's certain neighborhoods and pockets of people that this is all you see no diversity whatsoever, the high level of paranoia, and you're just like, come on, this is not how the world works. Like you are listening to wrong information and you've been around the wrong people, you know, like you've got to open up your perspective a bit. It's just hard to watch and be, you know, and see.
Right. And just to keep going. Beautiful Butterfly, how do you feel on there? You still on live?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
With me, I had an uncle that passed away from pancreas cancer. And him being, you know, this strong, stern man, he was 6'7", 200-some pounds. And he ended up losing like 100 pounds.
Wow.
And I guess with him, it was kind of like in denial.
Right.
That this only happened to women. That it don't happen to men. And during that time, just being around him, loving him, letting him know that he's not by himself, because he felt like that. He felt like something was totally wrong with him because he was a man that had cancer.
Oh, man.
Men go for testing as much as women.
Right. And you know what? I feel like, part of me feel like, I mean, I can't take on the world myself, but part of me, I feel like, and I only can speak like for like my background, for my culture, I can't speak for everybody, but it's kind of like, so, and this, I know I'm going to history lesson real quick. Like when slavery happened, right? It was like the men were taken away from the women and their families. And then it was like the families learned how to get through life without the men. Then that trained the women to treat men of the same culture like they won't shit. And so we're used to saying to them, you ain't shit, you ain't got no job, you're mama's boy. We, like, as women of my culture, I can't speak for everybody else, of my culture now have done the same thing. They keep reoccurring after history, year after year after year. And so we kind of make men, and I can only speak for what I see, I can't speak for everybody. Now what we have done is tear down men more, and it's like, you're supposed to have a cape on, right? You're supposed to do this, you're supposed to be this way. You can't cry, you gotta be strong. If you're not taking care of your family, you ain't nothing. But then we forget about, they hurt too, right? It's like, man, they got scars, they got some baggage, their mama, their daddy done left them, they got abused. Let me tell you something, even counseling is the realest thing. Men get sexually abused as kids more than you could imagine. And they never tell it.
And
women usually tell.
And that's because I feel like on the flip side of what you're saying, they were stripped from their families. So, and they were stripped and put up on a pedestal and sold off to the next owner, and they couldn't stand there and cry about it. They had to pick up their bootstraps and keep it pushing and go to the next plantation and work. And it's the same with modern day slavery. I call prison modern day slavery.
They're really
stripped from their families and put in a situation. I mean, of course, obviously they did some dumb ass shit to get themselves put there, but they're being, we'll have to talk
and not
prison
necessarily.
Reform. We'll have to talk. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not necessarily, because we'll have to talk prison reform. Because listen, I can go for days about how I think about our U.S. prison system. It's a joke. But at the end of the day, it's the modern day slavery. They're stripped from their parent, they're stripped from it, and then when they come out and they're inserted back into back into the world, they're not rehabilitated. They don't know how to cope. They're not given coping skills. Nobody's telling them how to cope. Nobody gave them the tools that they needed. And so they become very passive aggressive. I'm upset, I'm frustrated, rah, rah, rah to the world, but my rah, rah, rah is I'm crying because I'm hurting, but I don't know who I can tell that I'm hurting. I don't know who I can tell. Like I watch my dad. My dad worked until his knees pretty much buckled from up under him, and he went straight from work to the hospital and ultimately had to go into early retirement. He had worked himself into a stupor and never told anybody that he was having any symptoms. Got up every day going to work, hid from us that his knees were swollen. That's just men. My ex-husband, same thing. He had 2 strokes, would feel horrible, look horrible, and still get up trying to do. And I just had to physically say, "Oh, you don't look good." Her ex-husband, and let me not say his name just in case somebody out in the world, they go like, "Tina, don't say I'm talking about you." Right. But that's what I saw. I saw men not even take any kind of initiative to that hurt. That don't look right. Okay, that's been purple 2 days. Hello, doctor. Can I make an appointment? That's me. But men, you gotta drag them in, and they gotta damn near be on their deathbed before they'll even and they be like, "I'm all right." Boy, do you not see your eye hanging out your socket? You are not all right. But we do need to create a space to make them comfortable enough to say it. We don't create.
We get so caught up in we should make a challenge. We should make a challenge. We should come up with a challenge. Like every day, tell 5 men, like, be like, I don't want to get my number out of nothing or date you, but just say, "I appreciate you for something."
I appreciate you. I see you.
Yeah. I appreciate you. Regardless of what you're doing, I appreciate you. And record it. Be like, "You might have to record it," because I do believe we're missing some empowerment of men. And I feel like, man, if we link that part to say, like, "We love you. You may get on our damn nerves. You may irritate my booty hole at times because you're my baby daddy. I don't know. Like, yeah, you suck because maybe you're not doing X, Y, Z, but you know what? You here.
But I see you. Yeah. You're dope.
And our sons as well. The future. We have to do the same with our. Yeah.
Absolutely, Miss Sophia. Yeah. I speak life into I do it to both of my kids. I do it to my stepkids. I do it to my son's friends who come over. Yeah. I speak life into every Black male that I see because they don't hear it enough. And I was one of those kids where I didn't, not saying my mom was a bad mom. It's just she grew up in an environment where I love you and hugs and words of affection, and encouragement wasn't big. So she didn't give that to me. So I make it my business to give it to my children and my grandchildren and my nieces and nephews because we do need to hear it. I love you. You're awesome. You're doing a fantastic job. You rock. Yeah. Like, I love Cathy. Every time I see her say you rock, I'll be like, "Yes, you rock." And we rock. And that needs to happen.
It's important. Yeah.
But I am all for creating a challenge or posting videos. Let our men know. Like, you dope.
I tell you, I asked for we had a lunch day 4 years ago.
We had a lunch day 4 years ago.
Yes.
I owe you a new lunch date. Now somebody trying to call me on my messenger. You there, Ladybug?
My husband 5 years ago, we kept thinking he had pneumonia. We kept giving him medication for pneumonia because my husband was the type of man that did not go and get checkups and things of that sort because he never had the chicken pox, never had the measles, all of those childhood diseases. And they kept saying, "We see a mass on your heart." But it turned out my husband was basically a walking time bomb because he had an aneurysm on his heart that was as big as his heart.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
And
Oh man.
massive heart surgery. They basically had to, stop him from breathing and set him on a bed of ice while they did surgery. They said it was something that they'd never seen before.
Right.
But if he was obese and didn't work out, they said he could have died at any time. And that's why I need to go and get checked.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. And I mean, thank God he's okay, girl. Oh my God. I ain't even, and see, sometimes you don't even know what somebody's going through. Like, I never knew that was going on. Like, Lord have mercy. I'm sorry, sis. But I'm here like a phone call away. Like that. But we have to just encourage men to definitely get it checked out. Like, regardless of what, because, I mean, that's major. Aneurysm on the heart.
Yeah, that's real major, especially when you have sons that need to know this.
Right.
Like my son needed to be tested now. His other two sons needed to be tested because it was something that no one knew about. Because my husband ended up being in the medical journal because it's something that nobody knew. They had to fly doctors in from Boston.
What?
Because it was unheard of. It was unheard of for somebody to have an aneurysm on their heart that big.
And so he was just carrying it around thinking it was just what? Like what? Like did he tell you like what it felt like or?
At first it was like, oh, he just had pneumonia. That's what they were saying. Oh, it's just pneumonia. And then he kept saying because he was advocating for himself and I was advocating for him, this is something else.
Right.
This man is out of breath. He can barely sleep.
Wow.
And that's huge though. So advocating is huge. And Kelsey, I know you go hard on this. It's like, and Melanie does too. Like, we definitely have to advocate for ourselves. Like, if you know something don't feel right and you know something is wrong, don't take no, you're good as a response, because that's what I did. I was young and I didn't know. And the nurse actually told me this recently. She was like, girl, you were young to have cancer. And I'm like, she's like, you're a year younger than me. And I'm like, I meet like a 21-year-old or an 18-year-old every year that has cancer. Like, I get so tired of hearing about age and cancer. I'm like, these little kids haven't even had a chance to go to college. Like
that was me. I was 21 when I was diagnosed, but I had to be an advocate because they kept saying, "Oh, you're young and breast cancer doesn't hurt," and I'm like, "No, lady, listen, my boob is purple and I can't sleep at night." And I just kind of, like I told you in my last time, I kind of held the county hospital, almost John Q'd the hospital. Look, I'm not leaving until y'all do something because I haven't slept in 3 months and I got a newborn baby. You have to, have to. And they gave me every textbook response, but I wouldn't let it go.
Good.
And that's what we have to do now. You have to advocate. Right. And you're right. So the doctors tell you what they think it is. Sometimes they're experts, but they're you're right, they're not God, right? They don't have the last final say. And with my cancer, it was like aggressive, invasive, all these great words they use before they say cancer. And I did not want to know my stage of cancer because I knew once I heard it, I would die, right? Because it is like, once you hear something, your body responds and then you give up. And I'm like, I ain't ready to go though. Like, I'm not ready to go.
That's right. That's right. You got too much to live for.
Yeah. It's a fight. Right. And it's kind of fight or flight, right? So we're going to do a challenge. I'm going to send it to y'all. We're going to start it up. I'm going to see if we can do it for 5 days, 5 men for 5 days. I think we can do that.
Cool.
And then I'll send y'all the little rules or whatever we're going to do. We're going to record it and do it. We're going to figure out a hashtag. What is our hashtag going to be? 5 for 5 or something? I don't know. What?
Save our men.
Save our men. Save our man. That's gonna be our hashtag.
All right.
All right.
Save our men.
All right. That's our hashtag.
You know, because our men give us our children that need to be here for a lifetime.
Right. Yeah.
Even though they're not the best dad in the world.
Right. We still need them.
Even them need help.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing is saying, like, we put men on a pedestal, right? We do. We're like, you're supposed to be this for us and our family. But then we just forget. We forget that they're human beings. But I think we got to stop forgetting and just say thank you. We love you.
Yeah.
And hug them and kiss them. And in your mind, say, oh, you make me mad when you leave all the dishes in the dishwasher and don't put them away. Yeah, I wanted to talk about. So, Kelsey, I'm gonna get you to help these women that come to me, and, you know, and men, if men, you know, want to come about business, because when I went to the doctor, that was one thing that the nurse talked about. She has a lot of people who want to quit their jobs, and I'm like, girl, we can help them. We can help them because I don't think you should be stressed out. Cancer is enough, and if your job don't understand that after your FMLA is done, that you still need a break because you got surgeries, you still got medications, you still got all these appointments. And that little FMLA is not long enough. So I think they should extend it based on your disability, disease, or whatever you have. They should do an extension because cancer is just not no 4 weeks. Not cancer, 2 years.
You're gonna have a boss that's not that understandable, believing that everything needs to be running.
Right. Right.
I actually lost my job for that exact same reason. Because I was told Texas is an at-will state. They've held my position for as long as they can hold it. My FMLA had been exhausted. All my leave and everything had been exhausted. And I don't know if I ever told y'all, but my third surgery, when they removed my lymph nodes, I temporarily lost the use of my right arm. So I couldn't use my arm. So how can I come back in here and type on y'all computers? And I got to go through therapy. I got to relearn how to use my arm.
Right.
They didn't care. They didn't care.
You know, over here in the UK, it's against the law. It's actually against the law for people to lose their jobs based on cancer.
That's wonderful.
It's against the law. It's the Disability Act. So if you are discriminated against because you have cancer, you can sue them. So employers have to be very, very careful. And we have a charity over here called Macmillan, and Macmillan have helped me so much. They do counseling. They also give work advice, and they also give benefits advice. So when I was diagnosed, my doctor said, because I had stage 1, and he said, you know, we'll catch it, and you just have to go for radiotherapy. So I thought I'd be back at work not long after, but the moment they went in, they found more cancer. So they said he had to go back in because they couldn't clear it. So he went back in the second time, still couldn't clear it, went in a third time, still couldn't clear it. And in the end, I had a breast reduction. But all that time, I was taking sick leave. I was using up my annual leave. And in the end, I had to kind of use up all my sick leave and then go on benefits. But that helped as well. But my job, thankfully, was still there because they can't take your job away. It's actually against the law.
And see, for me, I had just went out on maternity leave. My lump was found while I was pregnant, but they kept giving me excuses. So after I had my baby is when I really started going hard of trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And long story short, you know, it took almost a year before I had somebody to really, truly listen to me. God. I was still trying to work, having to take leave because I'm not sleeping at night because of the pain, you know, and then imagine feeling like you're being stabbed repeatedly over and over with a newborn baby screaming next to you at night. What kind of sleep am I getting? I'm not sleeping at all. But I'm falling asleep at work. I'm having to go in the bathroom and take my bra off to get relief. So I'm constantly taking leave. I'm stressed out. I'm not sleeping, not eating, just all over the place. And so they were like, well, you've already exhausted your leave. You did this, you did that. I mean, they had zero compassion, you know? So it was horrible because I live in Texas, and Texas, in the United States, and Texas is an at-will state, which is what they quoted to me, which is the legal jargon they gave on why they released me from my job. So when I look for the job that I have now, I was very leery to tell them initially because I was still going through radiation at the time I took the job. But we have the luxury of creating our own work schedule. So I would basically create my work schedule around my appointments, so I never would have to tell them what I was doing. And we celebrate almost everything. So it was one particular day where there was an HR representative who basically, she shared her story and everything, and it was such a whole community within my job of survivors and how they had been living. And I was just in awe because I had never witnessed such a thing, because at my previous job, it was almost as if I had been cursed and, oh, you can't come in here and make production for us, then we'll just get rid of you. I was so expendable.
Yeah, and see, that's crazy to me. So I want to just create something like a platform. We got to find some sponsors, but people who are able to employ, again, I don't want to just target breast cancer survivors, but I feel like, because I know more about that than anything, but so they don't have to worry about it. So if you lose your job, so what? We'll embrace your passion or your skill and make that your company, right? Because we all are talented in some type of way, but it's just retraining your brain to say, everything you done learned at that job, they done taught you everything that you need to now apply that to your business. It's just changing your mindset. So you go to work and you work hard every day, right? You go to work on time, you get off, you know when you come in, you got your schedule. That's the same thing you got to do for your business, right? Get up out your bed and go to work. And then when you know you got stuff, you got to organize it. If we take all that and apply it to our passions, boom.
Yeah, true.
It's done, right? But we're going through so much at the time. We ain't thinking about that.
True.
Right.
That makes sense.
So if it's a way to ease people's mind going through that, that's what we're going to work on. So we're going to work on helping people ease stress. Tell your job, oh man, I need my fuck it sign. Tell your job, fuck it. and move on, because you're only as good as you are to yourself and to your family. Like, your job is going to replace you, just like this.
Yeah.
I'm happy to report that after they fired me, they went under.
Look at God.
Look at God. That's exactly what I said. Look at God. Oh.
Look at God. Okay, the next thing, ladies, I wanted to talk about is, what has trauma made you realize about yourself? And this could be any trauma. It don't have to be just about breast cancer. Any trauma. Trauma has made you realize about yourself that either you changed, you still want to change, or that you never knew. Anything you want to talk about?
Anybody else before Tina open her big mouth?
Well, I'll go. Trauma for me, my trauma was abuse in a marriage, and I was in an abusive marriage for 12 years. Of course, it was horrible. Just nothing was right. Nothing I could do was right. It was an argument every day. We could have argued. Oh, matter of fact, I don't even have to make up something. We argued over hair grease one time and got in a whole fight that ended up.
You said hair grease?
Hair grease that you use on your child's head. Yes, hair grease. In an argument over hair grease that turned into a physical altercation.
Wow.
Girl, I would have warmed that hair grease up on him.
But at that time, you know, and me just thinking, okay, after all that happened, end up getting past it and all of that. And on that day was the day that was the last huge fight we got into. And on that day, I realized, and I saw myself dead at the bottom of the stairs because he had me by my shirt and my mother was behind me. And I was more interested in protecting her life versus my life, of her, falling down the steps. I saw myself dead at the bottom of the steps. Like, I really saw it. I didn't even leave after that, right after that. I was still with the person. Ended up, I guess, like a few months later, it was around Christmas time, and the smallest thing ended up making us, split up. He was going to his family's house. He said he didn't want me to go because his family did not like me. And I was like, okay. So he ended up saying, hey, I'm going to change my ways and stuff. This happened all in a day. I'm going to change my ways. Okay, we ended up taking a nap, and he said he was going to his family house. I couldn't go because his family didn't like me. Right then and there, with that small thing, after us having that altercation a few months prior, then I decided, hey, I don't want to be in this relationship no more. So at that moment, I said, look, you need to move out. We need to separate, all of that. And a week goes by, still don't go nowhere. But my mind is still set on him leaving. And I say, you still haven't found a place. So he says to me, are you serious? Yes, I'm definitely serious. That was the ultimate breakup after 12 years of us fighting, wrestling, and doing all of that. And in that moment, I just knew I was stronger then. That trauma in my life for 12 years, that small little thing of me not going to his family house made me change my mind about the whole relationship. And I guess my body, my mind had just gotten tired. But I realized I was stronger than what I was portraying myself to be. I could do more, I could be more. And once that ended, I started being more progressive with my life, started doing extra stuff and being more confident in what I could, because I felt like after all that tragedy that I had been through, I could get through anything. If I got through that and made it through those 12 years, that I could do anything.
Yeah.
So that's what made me feel like I was stronger, when I finally stood up for myself and I said, I'm not doing this anymore. And I thank God that I made it out with my life, because a lot of people don't.
Right.
A lot of people.
And that's what I was. So that's what I was about to say. And listen, you know me. If I'm asking the wrong questions, or if I say something that y'all want to talk about, be like, Cathy, that's too much, and we'll get off of it. But Sabrina, because I do counseling, and when I hear women come to me all the time, and their families and their friends say, "Oh, well, you just leave. Why don't they leave? That's so stupid. They could just leave." People don't understand that an abuser usually manipulates you so much that you become accustomed to the abuse, and you think it's you, right, and you lose all your power. And so now mentally, you're thinking, it's my fault. I can't leave. I don't deserve better. You start to contemplate in your mind, oh my God, I should have put more sugar in your grits. It's my fault. Oh my God, I deserve this black eye. Let me wear my glasses. Oh my goodness. You know what? I should have had dinner ready for you. I'm sorry. And I always reference like the R. Kelly movie, right? Or the whatever series he had.
Oh, the Surviving R. Kelly, where like it was all his behaviors of like gaslighting and the way that he would treat girls. Oh, and
exactly what you go through.
The sad part is when people. So I like watching things like that, because it allows you to understand the human behavior, right? And
I like
people said to me, it's like
stuff for that reason.
Yeah. Right. And so people will say to me like, oh, well, it's all the parents' fault. How did the parents allow the kids to be over there? And I say to them, have you ever been a teenager and you ran away from home, or you went to your friend's house and your mama ain't know?
Right. And
these kids were supposed to be going to school.
And their parents some of the times thought, well, my daughter is going to get signed by R. Kelly, a huge star. So he was using position of stardom to further manipulate and gaslight. So, blaming the parents, I just think is just, some of them did everything that they were supposed to do, and like go into the the hotels, and they were trying everything. And, you know, when he's got people, he's got, you know, he's got his goons, right? He's got his whole crew, like, of men that are helping him perpetuate the abuse. It's a really situation to get yourself out of. I mean, just every single story was just so harrowing, like harrowing. It just,
It was, but the abuser, so the women who were abused kept going back, right?
Yeah.
And you have to think about they were children. They were children. And so 10 years later, all I know is R. Kelly's abuse. And what I tell people is it's the same thing we go through. Think about your job. When you go to your job every day and your boss talks to you crazy and you're like, but I'm a human being and I think about cancer. You can't control cancer. You can't control your feelings, your emotion if you feel like going back to work. Sometimes you can't get out of bed and you think about the abuse of your boss. And it's abusive. That's why I call it what it is. It's abusive because now you already know that I have a health problem, right? I can't disclose to you, and I don't have to. That's one thing we have to learn. We don't have to disclose what we got going on. We just say, medically, it's some shit ain't right. That's it. That's all you need to know. And I got a doctor's note, and that's it. And you keep asking me questions called HIPAA, right? And we're going to have complications and problems.
Right.
I would say record your conversation with y'all bosses. That's what I would do. But anyway, so Sabrina, my question is, why didn't you leave? Can you tell people your reason of why you stayed there 12 years?
So initially my reason was it's going to get better. You ever watch Lifetime? Those women, they always say it's going to get better. He promised and he said it's never going to happen again. This is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And before you know it, time has gone by. That's like us saying, oh, I'm going to wait till I get into this place and then I'm going to do this. Time goes by so fast. And then in the midst of this, we're having children. So, of course, you say, hey, I want to stay for the children because they can have their mother and their father. But in my mind, I'm not thinking, this is toxic for my kids. Now they're learning specific behaviors that are going to follow them when they get older. And yes, it does happen. It does follow them when they get older, and you have to help them unlearn that behavior and explain to them and apologize to your children for the stuff that you kept them in and allowed them to see and think that it was okay. Oh, it's going to be okay if somebody does this to you. It's going to be okay. Things are going to change. Or just saying, don't do what I do, but I'm still here in the midst of what I'm doing. They do what you do, not what you tell them not to do. But as I was saying, it's because I thought it would get better. I thought that I had control of the situation when I started fighting back. No, get out. And in my mind, I'm saying the same thing that other people would be saying to me, get out, girl, get out. But I'm still sitting here like, if I don't have him, what am I going to do? I got 5 kids. What am I going to do? Even though this person is not helping me financially.
Sabrina, let me tell you something, which is crazy to me. I got a pimple on my face. Oh, let me show you my nails real quick. So, Sabrina, listen. I mean, that's crazy. You don't change it. Then you got bumps in your face. You're like, where did that come from? But okay, so something you said, right? You have 5 kids, and it's like, who would want me with 5 children? But if we train our brain and say at work, if I had 5 employees underneath me, I'll be a manager. Everybody gonna want me, right? So it's kind of like, yo, I can organize my kids, get them off to school. That's number 1. I can manage this household and this business on $500. I'm good with budgeting. That's number 2. And I still got this piece of junk car that I can drive these 5 kids around. I can manage a whole vehicle surplus. If we change the way we think and when we're being abused and take a boss mentality, right? Yo, we'll be so empowered. And there's so many women that need to hear that. It's like, yo, who would want me with 5 kids? There are a lot of people because you know what that means? You're strong. You're enough. Somebody's gonna take care of you and all your 5 kids because number 1, that means you're a great mother and you holding it down because you ain't choking on your kids out yet.
I love somebody.
Yeah.
So I think we have to keep empowering each other to say, girl, if a man don't want you with your kids, and he ain't worth it. Who is
That's
he?
right. But that's how my mind had to change because we think everything is physical. The older I got, once I got older and once I got past the year 30, I was like, I don't care if my shape is not what I want. I don't care if I don't look like I think I want. If my confidence is going to show who I am. My personality is going to show who I am, and I'm going to attract the people that I need in my life. So my mentality totally had to change because it's not people being attracted to me or bringing people in my life is not what I thought it was. And then I got to love me first. I'm not worried about having a man in my life. I got to love me first. If I don't love me, then I might as well stay by myself anyway. So at this point, I love me. I love me, and it doesn't matter what anyone says.
You giving all these nuggets. Hold on. What? Listen, you giving some nuggets tonight. I got to tap on everything you're saying. I need a bell or something. The crazy part is, it's like when you like, oh, like with a man. Here's my thing in sex. Men don't care. If it fits, they good. It's like, listen, it is just like O.J. Simpson. He ain't quit, it fit. It was him. When the lights go off and you lay down, everybody the same height, same length, and that's it. They not caring about if you got one nipple, one titty. A cootie cat is a cootie cat.
They don't care.
Not even a little bit.
So,
because FYI, if you paying attention to the ones that go out there and cheat, they never cheat with somebody cuter than you.
Better. No, never. Look at Beyonce. I love Beyonce. But look at her. Beautiful, have everything going for herself, and boom, Jay-Z cheats.
Peace.
If you're slim, how much money you got, how banging you are, how powerful you are, people gonna be people.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
They gonna do what they gonna do.
Yeah.
Period.
But I'm glad that mentally I got stronger, and I had some people behind me that still gave me, encouragement and said, don't give up, encouraged me to go to school and do all the things that I'm doing now. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that I did have a support system because everybody doesn't go.
Everybody
doesn't have that. And I know that's the same thing with you guys.
Empress is on our live. Empress, I don't know why you're not in our chat room on Zoom. So Empress says, my ex-husband used to say that, and that was a lie. So I guess she's talking about, she has 4 boys.
Ain't nobody gonna want you.
The abuse. Ain't nobody gonna want you. You got 4 kids. Ain't nobody gonna want you. Well, you don't want me either because you cheating and you staying out in the street all night.
Right. You for the streets. So whatever. But I do think it's imperative that you have a backbone. I'm a different breed. I didn't have a backbone. I kind of had to get out here and learn it on my own by the hard knock way, right? But right. Tina, I think God, both of my kids have the same mentality that I have. I don't need you to tell me I'm bomb because, baby, when I opened my eyes and looked in the mirror, oh, this fat girl bomb. Oh, you see this fine head? Oh, it's still bomb. Oh, she got some big old lips. Yes, boom. And my lipstick is popping. Like, that's always been me. Even though I think, I had my moments where, yes, I do have big lips. Because, back in the 80s and early 90s, big lips were not popping. You were, I knew I was weird and different. And my thing was, okay, Tina, nobody's teaching you how to love you. So you got to love you, girl. You got to go hard for you because nobody else is going hard for you. But not everybody turns that on and thinks like that. And, a lot of people's mentality is, well, nobody loves me because nobody cares for me. Nobody's advocating for me. Nobody, I have nobody, they why, me, and rightfully so, because it's a hard feeling to feel like you're alone. But when I feel like I'm alone, I feel like I'm the lion standing on top of the mountain. I'm alone out here in these streets, so I gotta go hard. Rah! I am her. I will go. I will bite you. Don't come for me.
No. People will say like it's only when you're at the top. Right? It's only when you're at the top. People don't understand, like, yo, you're never you're never alone, because people are
True.
always like, you have so much support,
Mm.
but sometimes it comes to what we want to share, right? The things that we want to do, the things we want to share. I mean, that's powerful. And you're right. I think if we speak positive affirmations, even when it's negative things in our lives, if we say, like, I mean, let's say you just had to do a bankruptcy, you speak it into existence. That's a speed bump. But I know in the future, I'm going to be a millionaire. I know I'm going to own my own business. I know my car is going to be paid off. I know I'm going to have a nice house and a boat by the water. I know my kids are going to be healthy. Every morning, if you're speaking those affirmations before you get out of bed, can't nobody knock your block off. I'm going to tell you, I do it every morning. And I don't care what comes at me. I'll be like, really? And every time I see somebody I don't like, I put dollar signs in their eyeballs. I'll be like, dollars, 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 smile. Because you can't take my joy. You can't take my happiness. Even if you're my boss, I cannot allow you to do that.
Right.
That's right.
Because your happiness should never be dependent upon other people. You should never depend on other people to make you happy, because people will let you down every time.
Right.
Every time.
True.
And that's why you got to find happiness in yourself. So, okay, Mr. Anderson said, this is vice versa. This is a vice versa conversation. If you're in a relationship, you should compliment each other.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because like we stated earlier, when we were talking about men need to hear it too. I learned that the hard way. You know, my ex-husband had to say, he was like, dang, you like to hear you pretty. I like to hear I look good too. You know, I never knew that was the thing. You're right. I'm sorry. You know, I had to go in my bag and apologize, because he would get all spiffed up and I'd be like, okay, I see you. And I'd go on, you know, and he like, dang, that's it. That's, you know, you didn't.
How important though it is to teach people how to love.
You're muted.
Oh, I'm muted?
She's muted. Tina, I hear me.
Oh, Tina, you
There you are.
Tina's going to town. Okay, I told her she was muted. Let's see what happens.
I had a phone call come in.
You was going to town.
Huh? The door was already open for y'all. I'm sorry. I think people thought I should have been off my Zoom call, so everybody's showing up and looking for me and calling, and I'm still on the Zoom call with y'all. I'm sorry. Anywho, what I was saying, you know, he was looking for affirmations from me. He wanted to hear those same things that I crave from him. And I had to learn that men want to hear it too. They want to hear, oh, babe, you look real good today. Hey, handsome. Oh, goodness. You know, because I was doing it to my children. And he even brought it. He said, you know, your children come downstairs, they get dressed, your son get dressed. You like, oh, okay, I see you. You show up today. He said, but I can come in here with a brand new T-shirt on and you say nothing. And I had to change that. They want to hear it too. Right. They want to feel loved and I don't want to say pretty because, you know, but they want to feel handsome and want it just like we want.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so, two more things. So Tiffany says, hello, positive affirmations and law of attraction. You know, look, if y'all haven't read The Secret, or listen to the audio book of The Secret, just put it in YouTube. It's free. And listen to it, right? It talks about laws of attraction, affirmations, and visualizing what you really want, right? And then seeing that energy come to you. A lot of times, and I speak about energy, I wear my little energy crystal. It's what you put out. And this is my reminder every day that I am a result of what I put out in the universe. Mm-hmm. You can't get mad with any of that, right? And that's just what it is. But anyway, okay, back to the trauma. So Sophia, I'm just everybody. Sophia, what is something that trauma has taught you, or you have changed?
I think when I was diagnosed, it came as a shock. I wasn't expecting it at all. You know, I lived abroad for many years. I came back to the UK. I was building my life again. You know, my children were doing well, and this hit me. But when the doctor in the clinic, when he told me that I did have breast cancer, he also said, but it's all about up here. He said, we'll deal with the physical, but you need to deal with up here. And I never forgot that. And I'm a Christian, my faith helped me through. And I had, like what the others were saying, I had a lot of people around me, a lot of support. And I managed to get through it. I had time off. I took a lot of time off work, you know, because I had so much surgery. And I feel like I surprised myself as well, because even though every single time, every step of the way, they kept finding more cancer, and it's like, we're so sorry, we're going to go back in. I was like, and I heal very slowly. So the wounds were taking ages. I got the port. I ended up having DVT. I was in hospital for nearly 2 weeks, no, a week. So everything, but it was like, I just had this, every time I was like knocked down, I kept coming back up, because I had my faith, God helped me through, but then I also had my family, my children, my friends. So by the end of it, and I'm still, like, now I'm on tamoxifen. I know somebody mentioned they're on tamoxifen as well. And that is just knocking me, you know, like now I'm going to say bye soon, because I'm tired. But my Instagram name is Queen Talawa. And my background is Jamaican. So my parents came to the UK in the 50s from Jamaica. And Talawa means strength. And I decided that I needed to raise awareness and everything, because I've come out the other end and I'm building my strength again. And in Jamaica, they say, we little but we Talawa. It's a small island, but we're strong. And I wanted to take that with me. So I think another thing actually that I've learned is I was so busy with work that I forgot about my hobbies, things that I like to do. So during the time that I've been off, you know, I started doing things that I enjoy, like doing coloring, doing my garden, reading, writing, all sorts of things. And also, finally, I think because of COVID in a way, it's awful what's going on and everything, but like, I don't know what's happening in the US, but all people who were going through treatment and cancer treatment, which I was going through during lockdown, the beginning of lockdown, we had to shield. So we weren't allowed out at all unless we were going for treatment and back. And that taught me, you know, just to spend time, enjoy this time, because my whole life I've been so busy. So this time it's like I've been given this gift, ironically, this gift to just be still and be in my house and just take this time out. So it's been an amazing journey, actually.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it like that, and we're gonna let you go because I know it's getting closer to 1 o'clock for you.
Yeah.
But I think that's amazing that you say that, because cancer is ugly. Oh, it's so ugly. But the benefits that you go through as meeting you guys, right? Knowing that we're pushed until we can't push anymore, and that it's something that we started to see that we didn't even know was there. It's a little scary at first. You're like, oh, girl, I thought you would be crying. I thought you would have gave up. And then you look back, like when I look back, literally, I was diagnosed 2014, 15. And my doctor said to me, like, oh my God, it's almost 5 years. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
I surprised myself, because I'm like, girl, I can't believe you made it this far, because I didn't supposed to, right? The record showed that I was supposed to be gone. And now I look back at it and I'm like, my mentality is nobody can stop me.
Yes.
Right? It's as long as you feel in your mind that you got it, ain't nobody take it away from you. And I think that's the biggest thing that I have learned too, is you're pushed until you can't push no more. You surprise yourself, like, I'm strong.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you just tell everybody, like, look, if I whoop cancer's ass, I probably can whoop yours too. When I sleep.
Yeah, actually, that's my dad said, after all of this, I'm actually being made redundant from my work. Nothing to do with cancer. It's just the COVID thing and with, finances. But, I told my dad a couple of weeks ago that I'm being made redundant. And my dad said, oh, that's nothing. Look what you just went through last year. You went through cancer. You beat cancer. You can beat this. So, yeah. But thank you for having me. I'm going to say good night.
Good night. And look, before you hang up, Miss Jones, before you hang up, I gotta say this to you. You listening?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay. Know that you're the best and better than the rest and nothing less because you were made by God. Now,
Amen.
have a good night. You have a sisterhood. Yes, you have a sisterhood and you're welcome any Wednesday or Saturday. Get some sleep. We're going to carry on talking, but I'm going to tag you on the lips so you'll know everybody's Instagram.
Great. Take care. Bye.
Yes.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night. So, Kels, what about you? What is something that trauma has made you realize about yourself?
Man. Oh, man. That I am worthy of love. I'm a survivor, and it's almost like, it's not that I break for a while between the traumas, but breast cancer just like really broke my inner world wide open. Like, it changed my spirituality. I had a lot of things happen, so it was like a domino effect, like where it was like, my treatment was overall pretty steady. Like, there was nothing that was too crazy, like as far as my treatment, nothing completely out of the ordinary. Like, some of the stories that I hear, I just like my heart just like goes out, because I just think of the additional surgeries and things failing. And I mean, the worst thing that I had happen was one of my scars didn't close up like right, and it ended up being a little open, and I had to go under general anesthesia, but really, like, I mean, your local anesthesia, local. And that wasn't that bad. That was like nothing, but it was like afterwards, like, was the really tough part, where it was like, okay, suddenly I have shingles, suddenly this person passes away, suddenly this person passes away, I lose this friend, I lost my job. Like, I had everything go wrong, and I was just, for like a long time, like seeking validation outside of myself, because I wasn't taught like how to value myself as an individual, and I would always try to find validation outside of myself. So I think that's what it taught me, like, to find my inner validation and to start listening to like my own inner voice. And the more that I started doing that, the more that the things that just were not right for me, or the things that I attracted because of the traumas, coping mechanisms of things that I hadn't dealt with, like, those really came to light. And so that's been like a really, it's coming out of trauma and learning kind of like how it affects your psyche, and really analyzing yourself, and like really looking inside your brain and how it all works, and looking at your shadow side. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of work. And I think some people could like walk away from it. So, it taught me how to love myself again. And I think it made me a lot tougher and just a lot more resilient, like overall, it's a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Yeah, I think that's important, because one coping skill is just loving yourself. And I always say, I believe God strips you sometimes of everything that you're comfortable with, make you so uncomfortable that you have to grow. You have no choice. And even when it comes to our bodies, it is like, man, it is a hit to your self-esteem, your mental, and people just don't understand. Like, I had my niece and my daughter to tell me, like, oh, you don't have low self-esteem. You're good with everything. And I'm like, number one, I do, right? Even though everybody thinks like, oh, I love my big booty, I can't stand my big booty, right? It's like, I know that's the end thing, But and it's a real thing. It's like, man, when I gained,
they were like, oh, you
people
could
don't
think
get it.
I had cancer, because I'm just like, this is still awful.
Right.
I know boobs, but like, God, this is terrible.
Yeah, and people just don't get it. And so one thing you were saying about validation, it is like we have to teach our kids that you are enough and that you have to be happy with yourself first. Because then we get in relationships and we try to fill in that void that we think is going to make us happy. And that void ain't going to never be filled because we don't have it in ourselves. And I think that's major when you understand, like, man, be 100 with yourself first and then get into that relationship. Because if not, your crap becomes their crap and their crap becomes yours. And nobody took the time to tell somebody else how to love them. We're all dysfunctional. Right. And then when we have breast cancer, it's normal and then breast cancer on top of normal. It's like, now you got additional bullshit that you weren't willing to take on and you didn't ask for it. So validation is important. And that's why I think if we do 5 for 5, just tell men, we tell women all day, like, girl, you banging that hairstyle and, your shoes, whatever, your makeup. If we do that, I think we can change the world. And I know we can change the world because people will start realizing that you are enough. And I do believe suicides will go down, right? People will start having conversations that are tough. And this is the reason why I wanted to have like this I Rock My Scars show, because I want us to have those tough conversations where people are like, don't talk about that. Why not? It's life. It's real. It's our lives, right? Yeah. Nobody can tell you about your life.
Right. And I definitely had the feeling after of like this really guilt of like, why did I survive? And I felt like because I wasn't as appreciative of for a certain time, because I was just having a tough time, that I was like, why was I spared? Like, why? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it was a really tough place to be in, because I always thought like, okay, this is definitely like, now I have breast cancer, I'm never going to be depressed ever again. I want to live, like, I want to be alive. And, I did everything I could. And then after, it was just like, oh, okay, like, this is what my life is. But it was my opportunity to rebuild. So I still definitely deal with like depression, I definitely deal with anxiety. I hate it. It's really tough, but it's like, these things are really important to talk about, because it's something like, diagnosis doesn't really like cure any mental, things that are going on. It can exacerbate them if you don't take care of them and you don't seek help as soon as possible. So I always propose that to people is, seek therapy and be okay. It's never a bad thing. It's just sometimes our minds are telling us terrible loops, or they're leading to the wrong conclusion. And it takes a lot of inner work to work on those things and move forward. So yeah, it's I don't know.
I definitely would say, like, if we take the time and tell our crazy cousins that we know can't help us, or tell our girlfriends that know she got problems, if we take our time and vent to them, we should take the time to really go get mental evaluation, right? Because know something's wrong.
Sometimes they don't have the capacity, and they are only like working from their vantage point. So they can't put themselves into that like neutral position that we need in order for proper validation. Sometimes they'll even gaslight us and they're like, oh, well, you're so this or whatever, but they may have some unresolved trauma that they haven't dealt with. So therefore their perspective is skewed, and they're bringing that into the whole discourse. So that was like one thing too. My friends were not really my friends, and they didn't have the capacity, and nor should they have had the capacity to, deal with some of my shit. But it just taught me like my trauma is worth it. And, I'm going through for an extended period of time, but that doesn't like invalidate me as a person, or that shouldn't mean that I should be discarded or whatever. My worth to people should be around what I do for them and how I help them. Like, I have to be taken into consideration also.
And that's important because, and Tina and Sabrina, I don't know if y'all went through this, but so Kelsey, like what you're saying is important when you have the friends, like they're convenient friends, right? When you're going through something, like everything should stop for you because cancer is a real life or death situation. And it makes you realize who is in your corner, who is not. And like, I mean, if you're not saying, hey girl, I'm gonna take you to your doctor's appointment, or hey, I'm gonna go sit with you with chemo, or hey, I'm gonna do whatever. If you didn't offer, I don't consider you real because I could be there and I'm the same person. I'm there, like if you call me, I'm getting in my car, I'm driving to you. I'm flying to you. I'm doing whatever. Even the survivors know I'll come visit you and stay with you for a whole week because I feel like you need that support. And I don't know you from, you know, the moon in the sky. But to me, it's like you got to know the signs and symptoms of a person needing help. And if you don't have those people around you, they shouldn't be around you. They should not be in your aura, your close circle. You should not be telling them your business because it's not going to be a healthy scenario or outcome. Sometimes people don't want to see you happy. And they're going to fuck your shit up because they're going to tell you what to do with your life because they like to see you down and not up.
Yep. And all of us have to realize that too. I had a friend that I had been cool with since high school, and you know, because we considered each other best friends. But anytime something major happened in my life, she wasn't there. But I was always there. When she called me, I was right there. It didn't matter what anybody said. I would drive down here from Norfolk because I lived in Norfolk at the time. I drive down here from Norfolk to be there when nobody else was around, and all those people that they call their friends today, they weren't there. So I just had to learn how to remove myself from that situation, and that just came along with me saying, "Hey, I'm not going to keep on chasing down behind people that don't chase down behind me. You know, put that same energy into me as I do into them."
Yeah. Tina, what about you? What trauma made you realize about yourself?
Well,
besides that you're fabulous.
Obviously, honey. Listen. But no, I've been dealt a really jacked up hand. I actually just really verbalized my trauma a couple of weeks ago and realized that I have anxiety for people walking away, especially men. My dad walked away from me and my mom. Pretty much I've never broken up with a man. If our relationship ended, it's because he walked away. That's pretty much how I've always handled things. Instead of dealing, I shut down and just wait for you to exit. And you know, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, you have daddy issues and you have this," and I'm like, "I don't have daddy issues, girl. Bye, whatever. I'm bomb. I'm out here." No, I do. I was traumatized by that, and here I am at almost 40, still operating like the 9-year-old Tina. And it was like, well, wait. When I was just talking and I said it as a joke, but when I verbalized it and made it real, holy shit. Girl, you got to deal with that. And I had to go take a moment and really deal with that and really go through all of my failed relationships, especially that dealt with men that failed, and realize, you know, because like Sabrina was saying, I sat in a marriage that I know I didn't need to be in for 11 years. I knew I never should have married him. On my wedding night, I spent my wedding night in the bathroom crying on the phone to my mom. I knew I didn't need to be in that marriage, but yet I stayed sitting there because I don't leave. The man always leaves me. I always subconsciously wait for them to be done with me and discard me. And that's not the way I needed to be. And it pissed me off, but because at the same time, my daughter's now 21. I don't want to teach her that. And my baby sister's here. Say hi, Nika.
Hey, y'all.
Look at the people. They
Oh, girl, I ain't know yet.
But yeah, that's my baby sister. But having adult girl conversations with her, you know, when she was going through her trauma with her ex-boyfriend, and I was trying to tell her, girl, I see the signs, get out, blah, 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 blah. She said something that made me have to check me. And she said, you're sitting here telling me to do this, that, and the third and get out, but yet you're still sitting in your marriage, married to the man you're telling me is treating you this way.
Wow. That's deep, though. That's a real conversation,
like,
Tina. That's a real conversation. You know what? That's a conversation people scared to have with people. But look, I'm like your sister. We're going to have it because I'm going to tell you, you can't give me no advice if you're in a screwed up. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. What's a guy named Steve Harvey? Listen, I listen to Steve and I laugh at his jokes. But I can't take him serious when it comes to a relationship. You know why?
Because he done ran through too many.
Because you don't respect the women that you done ran through. And you didn't do it the right way. I understand we tell people we're going to get better, but I can't take advice from somebody whose life is already screwed up. And I think that's what we have to realize. We got to take a step back and say, how are you telling me what to do? And it may be factual, but who is it coming from? The messenger, you got to watch the messenger. Right. That's a real conversation.
I had to check me, and I had to I had to learn a new trait that I'd never done. I had never walked away from anybody, whether it's a friend. I learned that about myself, whether it's a toxic friend, a toxic family member, a man. I never walk away. I just shut down, and me shutting down, not giving them anything would force them to leave. But I had to learn to be the one. I walked away from my toxic marriage. I walked away, and I was proud of myself. Like, oh my God, you really did that. Like, you really walked away. You ended something that should have never started, to be honest. But I had to live in my truth and respect what my sister said. Yes, I'm sitting here. I see the signs. He's exactly like my ex-husband. Nothing good's gonna come from it. But when she checked me on and called me out on my shit, on my bag, I had to respect that too. Because how can I sit here and tell you something and I'm still sitting over here in my shit shamble? Married or not married, it's still a shit shamble. So I gotta check me and I gotta deal, and I can't give her the game if I'm not gonna live by it. So you know, but that's the trauma that I, you know, like I said, I will be on here till tomorrow, and I don't have till tomorrow to be talking about all my traumas. But that's the one that resonates with me the most. Is that I've been so traumatized by people coming into my life doing something to me horrendous, from the guy who raped me, who I let him in. It takes a lot for me to allow you in. So if I allow you in, you mean a lot to me. You have worked through this hard shell Sagittarius to get to my heart. And when I allow you in and you hurt me, I shut down. And, you know, so like I said, I dealt with people, a guy being really, really close to me, raping me. I've dealt with, during that rape, being held at knife point and being raped and watching a lady close her shades instead of help me. You know, the whole cancer thing, by the time I got to the cancer situation, I had been through so much fucked up stuff that I was numb. That I heard you have cancer, and I was like, shit, what else is new? I've been coming to these hospitals for the last year and a half, begging y'all to look at me. I know. Now what are we gonna do? I had become so immune to trauma that I didn't know how to properly respond to it. And because I wasn't properly responding to it, I can't even say it was negatively affecting me. I had become complacent with chaos. And I had to learn that that's not okay. It wasn't until I was in the hospital. Normal. Right. It was like, girl, this is not normal. This is not okay. And my new friend, he said it to me. He was like, you know, that's not okay, right? You know, your thought process is not okay. Like, somebody had to say it to me. You know, that's Tina, that's not okay. People don't operate like that. And it was at that moment. So yes, I'm going to therapy. I had to go and talk to somebody because I had become so used and accustomed to toxic and drama and chaos that I didn't even react the way you're supposed to normally react to it.
Right.
So that's my story.
That's
y'all.
huge,
That's how
Tina.
I'm living.
That's huge. And the reason why I'm clapping is because you have people in your life that's real with you. Like, look, you ain't right. And if you ain't right, I'm gonna tell you ain't right, and I'm gonna check you on it. We need to have those people in our lives. We don't need to have yes men, yes women.
Yeah.
We need people to be like, and then we gotta be receptive. A lot of times we're like, I know everything. I don't need you to tell me nothing, and I'm always right. But those people, I mean, I'm gonna tell you how I am. I don't need those people around me because I need people that's willing to be open, flexible, and grow. Right?
That's gonna.
I don't need anybody who's stagnant.
I know, Tina. I'm one of the. If you wrong, I'm not a go along to get along person. I'm gonna say, well, no, I don't agree. Here's why I don't agree, and we can agree to disagree. But I'm gonna tell you that, girl, you got me messed up, and no, I'm not jumping on your bandwagon because that's crazy. Are you psychotic?
Right.
I'm gonna say it verbatim,
and so
word, just like that.
One thing you said, Tina, and I wrote it down was discarded me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know you said it, but you said discarded me.
They discarded me. That's how I felt. Discarded. Unwanted.
So and when you think about discarded, you think about trash, right? Like take that and throw it away. And then you think about everybody is coming in your life, you probably feel like, man, like I deserve the abuse, right? It's the easiest way for me to get out of this relationship. I don't want to be here anyway, but I can't leave because it's a detachment thing, right? Because you're supposed to love your father and your mother. And when you have that void, you look at it as like, okay, well, you're going to be temporary anyway, because that's what you were taught as a child.
And that's how I handled all relationships. So instead of, I feel like my forever recently got married, and I saw on Instagram, I feel like I discarded my forever husband because we had one big huge fallout and I shut down and just waited for him to leave instead of fighting for him, because he's gonna leave anyway. He's already upset with me. He's made it known why he's upset with me and what he doesn't like. So there's no reason for me to continue to sit here and try to have a relationship. And that's pretty much how I've moved.
And listen to what you're saying. Like, I'm not trying to make you have a counseling session right now, but it's power in our words. So listen, even right now, what you're saying, right? So right now, you're even still saying, man, I lost something that I thought was for me. It's not for you. You know why? Because if it was for you, I'm gonna tell you something my grandma told me as a little kid growing up. And people, this is why I probably don't have a man right now, because I just boom, 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 boom. But my grandma always said, you are a queen. Queens don't go running, jogging, or looking. The king comes to the castle to scoop her up and to get her. So at no point should you feel like you're not worth it, right? Because a true king is going to come back and get you every time, because they know you're broken. Every time because they know you need help. Every time because they're supposed to come rescue you. The problem we have with ourselves is
he was trying to rescue me, but I shut down so hard that I wasn't hearing it. I just learned how to now be like, you know what, you can't do that. But because I was like, oh, I'm bomb, and so the fact that you have an offense with me and I spoke my piece, you spoke your piece, I'm not gonna change how I feel. Oh, you still mad? Tina mentally shut it down. Instead of, you're still mad, let's talk about it again. No, there is no more conversation for me.
Yeah.
We're done. He's no longer in love. Yeah. And I'm a Sagittarius. Just as quick as I turn it on, I can turn it right back off. Turn it off. Next. It's only a matter of time before he leaves.
Right. That's a little Gemini in you. That's a little Gemini. I don't know about Sagittarius. Gemini's like that. They like a light switch. You be like, where's this person I got? Okay, it's you again. I don't know. But ladies, you know we can talk forever. Yes, and it's time for us to go. Of course, on Instagram and Facebook, Instagram always shuts down 45 minutes or something, and I just let it run out. But of course, we've gotten on Facebook a lot of thank you for the conversations and the tough topics. It was well needed and a great conversation. I always enjoy y'all. Y'all know it. I like real conversations with real people, talking about real life that really matters. So you know it's time to go, and you know I got to say, you're best, better than the rest, and nothing less because you were made by God. Thank you, ladies, and definitely we'll see you next week if you want to join. Of course, it's a pleasure. I learn something new about y'all every week, and I love it because it makes me feel like I'm normal.
Right.
So love you,
I'm
ladies.
not crazy.
I'm not crazy.
Love you too. Bye, Kelsey. Bye, Brina. Bye, Cathy.
Bye. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Love
See you
you
next
too.
week.
Bye.